Fourth goal is to support and collaborate with the Chancellor. I can report that Dr. Ella LeBlanc is doing a great job for TCC. Dr. LeBlanc, if any of you, I know many of you probably know her, but she was a single mother raising 2 kids. She went to TCC to get her education. She was a faculty member at TCC, and now she's the Chancellor. So she knows this college system in and out, and she has a passion for education, for the community, and for TCC. So we really have a gem with Dr. LeBlanc being the Chancellor of TCC. And then the final goal is to engage the community and advocate for the college. So thank you all for inviting me here today. That will really check that box, and I'll do much more of this anytime anybody wants to hear about TCC. I'm happy to come and talk to you. If anybody has any questions, I might
have a question.
Go off. Okay, yeah, sure.
I need a microphone though, but maybe not. My name is Araceli Chavez, and about maybe 30 years ago, I worked with TCC, setting up learning centers all over the north side and all over the city actually, because we had learning centers where people would come and get their GED. Okay, and one of the things that I realized early on in my career is that you have to have people that can connect to our people, okay? Latinos, they need to be able to, know they were being pushed out of the district. They weren't dropouts, I didn't call them dropouts, they were pushed out of the district a lot of times, because they didn't want to work with them. This problem in Fort Worth has been going on for years. When I worked at TCC, the question was always, what's the diversity, what's the makeup? We had all these meetings about trying to get more Latinos, Latinas hired. Do you know what the demographic is? I know you don't like to talk about it, but I want to know what the demographics are about students and what percentage of the faculty and staff. And also, why do you only hire part-time people?
Okay, sure. Thank you for the comment. And I can say that the students at TCC, the majority are Latino, Hispanic. They are. I don't know the makeup of the faculty. I do not know that. We do hire full-time faculty as well as adjunct professors.
And also, you got rid of Alessandro. It was an Hispanic heritage program that was going on, because I was when I went back to work for TCC after I was laid off from the district, I was hired by my ex-supervisor, Gladys Emerson, that helped build all these learning centers that you don't have anymore, right? Anyway, and so, why do you get rid of programs? I know that you're under the legislature, but somebody has to step up against these bullies that are telling us that we can't celebrate our heritage or read our books.
Well, let me just say that I'm very new to TCC, so I don't have any historical knowledge about those, why those programs were stopped. But I can say that, TCC has to go by the law, and sometimes it has unfortunate consequences that feel much more drastic than one community to another. And I think that we all don't like that outcome of change, but nevertheless, our job is to obey the law by TCC, and I'm sorry that some
Well, we
people like
just
to
need to vote
understand that.
people like you out. That's all we need to do. And I'm saying it from the heart.
But ma'am, I had nothing to do with the legislation that passed.
No, but you have people that endorse you. District 7, we know what District 7 is all about.
Okay.
Good morning, thank you for being here. She kind of beat me to some of the questions. I'm a Southeast TCC alumni. So you did say that the majority of the TCC students are Hispanic.
Yes.
Okay. I was going to ask the same question. I know that some of our LULAC executive board members met with Dr. LeBlanc?
Yes.
LeBlanc. And in regards to the same situation, that we were concerned about the cancellation of not just Hispanic, but also African American celebrations that they've had historically in the past. And thank you for replying to her, but I just don't understand, because I know that both UTA and TCC both get funding from the state. But UTA has continued to have celebrations celebrating the culture of the students. So I just don't understand why TCC completely gutted the programs. The other question I have is with, the state now saying that undocumented students have to pay out-of-state tuition. Are there any programs that y'all are working on, or any other ways to support students so that the tuition is more affordable for them?
Well, let me just comment on the tuition. If you're a resident of Tarrant County, I do believe that the tuition per hour is less expensive than if you're not a resident of Tarrant County. I can't comment on whether or not it's accurate that foreign students are getting charged more. I honestly, I don't know that. As my job as trustee, I don't get involved in that part of it. But happy to, anybody that wants to ask a question, I'm happy to run it down. If you go on the Board of Trustees website, my email is on there, and I'm happy to run down any kind of questions, but I just don't want to give an inaccurate answer about something I don't know. So please, anybody can welcome to contact me.
Good morning, my name is Sal Padillo. In reference to the meeting that she was talking about, I was one of the members in that meeting, LeBlanc, and your attorney for CC. Ramon Romero was there, as well as Richard Gonzalez. And to give you some context about what's happening, fill you in. According to the attorney, and there was some dispute with Ramon Romero regarding the interpretation of the law. They interpreted the law a certain way in which it basically prevented any sort of celebration in which faculty members, or almost to a certain extent, monies from TCC would be used for those celebrations. Obviously, UTA and other schools are not interpreting that. And like I said, Ramon Romero told me that he was interpreting that law incorrectly, and that he could give the person who sponsored that law and inform him that you're interpreting it correctly, and the guy, the attorney, the name, passed my mind.
Are you talking about Antonio?
Yes.
Antonio Allen, is it?
Yes, he said that it doesn't matter. He's interpreting it a certain way, and so that's it. End of discussion. So, that being said, would you, if you're really elected and you're not part of what occurred, would you be pushing back and making sure that like she said, that you stand up for your students and allow them to have these celebrations, this education that was done prior to the passage of the legislation, the laws that you're talking about?
Yeah, well, I'm glad you're saying this, and I do know that you're accurate in that. I think, UTA and some other public educational institutions were interpreting the law maybe less strictly than TCC interprets it. And I have asked questions about that. Let me just say that, I went to a 4-year university, but I grew up in a community with a community college that many of my friends went to, so I realized the importance of this. And it made me sad when I was hearing from the students that they felt like they could not get together to celebrate their culture, because that was a big part for me of my community, to celebrate my culture in every different fashion. And so I can tell you that the law does not restrict Hispanic students from getting together, African American students from getting together. It just, these meetings, the get-togethers have to be open to everybody. But I do think that there was some disconnect, it seemed like, between how the law was interpreted and its application. And so from what I've heard, pursuant to my inquiries, that's being handled. I'm happy to continue to look into that, because I do feel like that's a very important part of going to college, is to have the students be able to get together in their groups. So, yeah,
I'm David Quinn. I'm sorry, did you need I am a math instructor at TCC, 22 years, and I'm retiring in December.
Thank you for what you've done.
Thank you. But I do agree that, and in fact, in my contract this year, almost all the work, about 20 pages, it would say you cannot be a part of any of this, what the governor is speaking of. It has to be student driven. We cannot help out at
Yes,
all.
that's right. Yes.
And that was so many pages, it just kept banging, click this thing. The whole page on it, click this thing. And then we filled with it. And also, I do agree with Araceli about the faculty. So there's 2 faculty in our math department that are Hispanic out of 14, which is 28%. And I'm leaving, so it's supposed to be the next person. It's not, so it's going to be one out of 14 and 7%. And we're talking about a majority Hispanic.
That's right.
You know, that's very low, and
And they take our taxes.
yes, and I do not like that disparity there. And I'm hoping you all help to increase our numbers there. Okay, thank you.
Thank you all for having me.
Thank you, Ms. Chavez. We'll have time for another question afterwards, and if you want to talk to her, she is leaving early, she has another commitment, so if you have additional questions, maybe you can reach her before she leaves. I want to thank you for being here today. I know it's a rough situation with DEI. It's hit a lot, all the state universities. I met UNT as a student, and some of our faculty have been denied the opportunity to sponsor anything that's DEI diverse. So it's a hard situation, I know. So I thank Ms. Chavez for trying to look into it and getting answers for y'all. Our next speaker is going to be Berna Borges. I met Berna at Raffles when she was in our women's panel. So let me tell you a little bit about Berna. She is running for Tarrant County Commissioner in Precinct 4. She's a daughter of immigrants from Chihuahua, and she's trying to have legal knowledge in immigration law, civil litigation. And she has a bachelor's degree in education and is certified as a registered behavior technician and now works with children with autism. Great job.
Yeah.
Along her activism, she has been the treasurer, board member of the Chamber of Commerce, Young Leaders, and also is the co-founder of Indivisible 12, leading several national protests this year. She's fully fluent in both Spanish and English, and she thrives most in educating and connecting with Hispanic communities. Berla has earned 34,871 votes in predominantly Republican area in the Democratic nominee for House District 93. She's running for commissioner to root out corruption and to uphold the Constitution and to fix the roads in Tarrant County. Please welcome with a round of applause. Berla Borges.
Buenos días, Fort Worth, ¿cómo estamos? Hola, mi nombre es Perla Borges, mis papás son de Chihuahua, México.
Chihuahua.
Estoy corriendo para la comisión del condado de Tarrant. So, hi, my name is Perla Borges. My parents are from Chihuahua, Mexico, and I am running for Tarrant County Commissioner, Precinct 4, against MAGA Manny.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. So, I'm just going to tell you a little bit of who I am, what I've done, and why I'm running. So I started in an immigration law firm. I help plenty of families go through the system and getting their citizenship. My parents themselves earned their citizenship in the 80s through Ronald Reagan's amnesty immigration reform. So I understand that a lot of us are the children of immigrants and what it takes every single day just to survive and thrive, and where other students maybe had parents who already went to college, parents who are already in the workforce. We came here, we have to figure it out for ourselves everywhere we go. So I just want to say thank you to all the immigrants, thank you to all the children of immigrants who are here fighting, because it takes all of us to get to where we are. So I started immigration, I did family law, civil litigation, a little bit of criminal and traffic. I have worked with judges, attorneys, doctors, nurses, teachers, children, families, communities. I've been doing this for a very long time. Community outreach is my #1 love. I love helping and educating communities wherever they are. So that's who I am, kind of to my soul. Here in Fort Worth, I ran for State House 93, and it was probably one of the hardest runs and campaigns that I've ran just because of, it was Keller, Saginaw, Hazlitt, and a little bit of North Fort Worth. So if you guys know what that area looks like, it was a tough cookie to get my foot in the door, but I did it. And we ran a strong campaign, and we didn't win, but that's okay because that was the foundation for everything else that we moved forward with. So with Indivisible 12, Sabrina Ball and I, we decided to say, hey, I-35 west all the way to Parker County, let's organize this community. Indivisible 24, it existed, it's I-35, South Lake, Keller, they have resources and they have their community already built out, but what we saw the need is from I-35 all the way to Parker County, we needed the Latinos, the Black communities, the Asian communities, the white communities, we need all our communities working together. So that was the goal with Indivisible 12. I had no idea that we were gonna lead national protests, and not just one, but several. In June with the No Kings March, and then again in October, we had estimated 10,000 people there. But it wasn't just me, it wasn't just Sabrina, it was organizations, it was collaborations, it was this community here in Fort Worth who showed up again and again and again, because we're fighters, and we're gonna keep fighting back.
We're here to fight.
Yes, so right now, we just had a special election for Senate District 9. We flipped almost every single precinct in House District 93. So that was all those calls, all those postcards. I know there are several people in the room. I see you guys in several different spaces. It's not that you show up one time, you keep showing up day after day after day in different communities, and that's what we need. So, you on your table should have registration forms. So I need you to take at least one and take it to somebody that you think or isn't registered to vote. That is what we need. For Taylor's campaign, it was the entire county working, knocking doors. I myself knocked on over 500 doors for Taylor's campaign. My precinct, the precinct beneath me, and the precinct to the west. Guess what? Those three precincts flipped. Blue. Across the county, almost every single precinct shifted 10 points bluer. That is huge. That is huge. And that is because everybody was knocking doors for this one campaign. And obviously the constitutional amendments, which suck that they all passed because some of them are really bad for our communities. But again, that's the part of the educating and engaging and making sure people are informed of what they're voting for and who they're voting for. So, who I am, where I've been this year, really that was all year this year, and why I'm running. So Sal and I sat with Manny Ramirez about 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. It's been a while ago. And we sat there and we told him, hey, we don't see you representing the Latino community in Tarrant County. What are you doing? And he said, I promise, we're listening, we're here. We're like, well, he did open the door, he is listening to us. I spent 2 or 3 years sending him statutes of laws. Be like, hey, Manny, if you vote this way, there's going to be a lawsuit because this is violating the laws. You're violating statutes. You're violating the Constitution. And he listened a little bit, right? He didn't do great, right? But he listened a little bit. But it was time after time after time that I felt that he was deceiving the Latino community in Tarrant County. He goes up there and votes to gerrymander the commissioner's court. And by the way, he held one public hall, town hall, and he wasn't even there. He was off licking somebody's movie Trump in somewhere. He wasn't even at the town hall that he hosted for his community. He does not show up for the Latino community ever. And then again, he votes for things that cause lawsuits, and that's all our tax money. So I know that we had the Boston Tea Party because we were mad about being taxed on tea. But here people are wasting millions and millions and millions of our tax dollars here in Tarrant County, and the only thing we need to do is vote them out. So that is why I'm running. I'm running to root out the corruption. I am running because I understand the laws. I am running so that we can all work and collaborate together to get more of those precincts and more other Latinos elected for judges, or just any other elected position that we have, especially countywide with those state house races. She's back here. The legislation is not her fault. The way we interpret it, like I said, it's going to be iffy there. But the legislation is where we need to be making these changes in the laws. But I can help represent the Latinos here locally in Tarrant County. So I appreciate your time. Again, please take one of those voter registrations and hand it to somebody so that they can mail it themselves. I have distributed thousands of these red cards of Know Your Rights. I want people to understand that they have rights regardless if they're a citizen of the United States or not. everybody deserves respect and justice. Also, campaign runoff money. So if anybody has $5 or $10, please, I will pass this around to scan, because that's what we need. We need to be knocking doors, and that takes time and resources. Really just the flyers. I spend a lot of time for free, and I know a lot of people for the county do it for free as well. But the flyers take, cost money, and it's union printed because ethics and all the things. But I appreciate everybody in here, and you guys are doing amazing, organizing the communities in different areas. So, thank you.
Hello? Hello? There you go. Like she said, when we made, in the past, after the
Cesar Chavez
issue that came up, and I guess to put it diplomatically, when we spoke with him, he mischaracterized what his focus was. He was talking about he only wanted to focus on bridges and roads, and that's all he wanted to do. Obviously, his record doesn't reflect that. He's basically a single hair, lack of a better word, lacking, and he's going to bring up the fact that he voted against him one time, and that maybe Goldfriends want to primary him. But the fact of the matter is, you were there. His words are not reflective of the tax. So I guess, what would you do then?
My word, it means everything to me. I know exactly what you're saying, because he said something to our face and then went and voted the other way, which is very hypocritical. Just with my background, ethics is so important. Just being ethical, having good morals, having actual faith in God that leads us every day. That is the way I live my life. But I also like to make educated decisions. So all of my decisions are based on laws and statutes and everything that is put in front of me of information. Something that we asked him to do and he didn't do was do more community outreach. I love knowing and understanding problems that exist because you live in your bubble. You don't know that things are going on in the south side or the north side or the west side because you don't live there. That's not your friends and family. But guess what? When somebody brings this information to your attention, that's your moment to act on it, or at least refer it to somebody who can help. Yes.
Thank you for running. I know it takes a lot. I know it's going to take a lot of money, a lot of volunteers. So thank you for doing that. To everyone that's here today, we really need to get out and support the candidates that are going to be running for office this next year. We need to volunteer on campaigns. If you're able to donate money, donate money. But it's going to take a lot of people supporting the candidates that are coming. I know that Alberto, is Alberto here? Alberto was part of a lawsuit to challenge the redistricting that happened in our county. I'm one of the victims of redistricting, and I got moved from Commissioner Lisa Simmons' district to Roderick Miles. Of course, we all know, if you voted in this election in November, most of you found out that, some of you found out that your voting place is no longer there. They're really trying really hard to suppress the minority vote here in Tarrant County. And the only way that we're going to create change is if we fight back. And how do we fight back? We have to really get involved and we have to stay active. If you're looking for ways to get involved, find out if your precinct has a precinct chair. The filing deadline to become a precinct chair, I believe, is December 8th. That's a really great way to get involved in your community and knock on doors. I'm pretty sure that if you do become a precinct chair, that Puebla will be willing to work with you to help you figure out how to get a list of people that vote in your precinct to go knock on doors. But we can't keep complaining, we can't keep talking about it. The only way we're going to create change is to get involved and stay involved.
And vote.
And we have to vote.
Yes, okay. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. I'm going to pass this around.
Thank you, Ms. Perla Bojontes. She is running for commissioner, and let's get on her website and find out how we can volunteer and donate to her. Thank you very much.
Perla for Texas. I endorse.
Perla for Texas.
Oh, thank you, Terry. And I saw my
And do
person
you have-
endorse. Yeah, I can. Miss Terry.
Do you have a phone number or website?
Yes, perlafortexas.com. So PERLAFOR Texas.com. Thank you, Sherry, for your endorsement. I love you.
Thank you so much. So she's going to be here. She has a little QR code. Let's get up and help her out at the end of this event. Our next speaker is J.J. Resendez. Unfortunately, we didn't have his bio, but he did give me some information. He went to the College of Southwest Texas, now called South Texas College, and he is the athletic coordinator at Northside High School and the head football coach. And without further ado, Mr. Resendez.
Good morning, thank you guys, I appreciate it. I'd like to thank Ms. Salcedo for the invite. Thank you very much. I know we were supposed to do this in August, and for whatever reason it got canceled or we couldn't quite connect on it. But I'm basically here to just introduce myself. My name is J.J. Resendez. I am the new boys athletic coordinator and head football coach at Northside High School. I wish we could have got here a little bit sooner. We attended one of these, I think, in July, but now we're back. We just want to talk about two things. A little background about me is I was a head coach at Fort Worth South Hills for 8 years. We brought 2 undefeated back-to-back district championships, which hasn't been done in Fort Worth prior to that or since that. I was the head coach and assistant athletic director at Crowley High School for 5 years. Went a couple of years at Brewer, and now I'm at Northside. I went to All Saints. Spent 7 great years at All Saints Catholic School. My grandmother, bless her heart, died a couple of years ago, but they lived off Ross for 60 years. So our family is ingrained in the North Side. That family at Tremble Tech, that family at Diamond Hill, that family at Northside. My mom, she's my rock, a 22-year breast cancer survivor. Mary Resendez, graduate of Tremble Tech. So we brought her here today. But I just want to talk about 2 things. And so you can put a name with a face when you see me in the community. I'm looking for 2 opportunities. I brought my fundraising coordinator with me today so he can kind of get his information out. But I want to talk to you about community service projects. I try to do 1 each semester with our football program. Whether it's, sometimes it gets a little hectic and it's a little tough to coordinate, but we want to do a fall community service project and we want to do a spring community service project. And that spans from across the board to football, basketball, baseball. We want our athletes being productive in the community. You know, we always talk about grades, we always talk about involvement, and we want them productive. We want them giving back everything that they can to the community and making sure that they have the tools to be a productive citizen when they graduate our programs. We'll talk about more than that. What I want to do is give you my email address. If you have something, at South Hills we planted trees, we cleaned up certain portions of the road, you know, and we tried to be involved as much as we could, and in Crowley we did some of the same thing. And I'd like to give, so if you have that, my email is julio.resendez@fwisd.org. That's that. And so, if you have a community service project that you would like help on, give me a shout. And we may or may not be able to coordinate it, but we're looking for opportunities to do that with our football boys and our baseball and basketball and all our athletic programs. Girls too, if there's something that you would like a co-ed involvement, we can try to coordinate that as well. Next thing is, I brought my fundraising coordinator, Coach Jesus Sanchez. Come up here, Coach. And he's going to talk to you a little bit about game day meal sponsorship, fundraising opportunities. That way we can try and generate a little bit more income for our programs and athletic involvement. Thank you.
Buenos días, ¿cómo están?
Buenos días.
Sí, como dice Coach, like Coach is saying, when he came on, he tasked me with finding ways to feed our kids, feed our players. Because before every game, we want to be able to feed them and they have energy, right, to play the game. So I reached out to local vendors or restaurants, parents, and we have parents here on here that helped us raise some of that money. Prepare the meals, and so what we did is before the game we would feed them, right? And so all these meals came from restaurants. So Heaven's Gate provided 4 meals this year. Fernando Raga, he cooked some of the meals for us as well. And so Ramon Romero, state representative, he donated 3 meals. He donated the funds to buy 3 meals. So again, we had a lot of help, and so that's what we're looking to do. So anyone that's willing to help us for the upcoming seasons, for all the sports, just reach out to me if you can. My name is Jesus Sanchez Montiveros. My email is jesus.sanchez.montiveros@swiz.org. Thank you.
Any questions, coaches?
Good morning. My name is Amanda Ine, and I'm actually a parent of an athlete at Fort Worth ISD, particularly Northside. He was actually trained to be the quarterback ever since 8th grade. He started this year as head quarterback. Since that time, I had to pull my son out of the middle of the program in the middle of the season due to a toxic environment. Things such as the boys being called bitches and hoes, being told their prayer is too long and half the players can't read anyway. My son has an IEP in which he's supposed to have visual aids and graphic organizers. He was denied the right twice when asked to have an armband to help him deliver the plays accurately to players. Also, he witnessed one of his football brothers being asked if he was retarded, who he also has an IEP. And soon after his brother quit, 9+ juniors have quit.
No.
17 varsity players remain, original. 15 of them are seniors. What are you going to do to make this program positive for our kids and to ensure they have a safe environment and a level playing field to play?
I'm sorry, I think this is really not the time to handle this. You know, I think respectfully, we've met with the athletic department, we've met with some of the things that were alleged to be going on. And I really respectfully must say that I think this is not the time or the place. Those things have been brought out before, some of the things that were said, some of the things that were allegedly said.
It is the time and the place when you're attacking our kids.
Ma'am,
Oh, let's go ahead. Answer.
and I respectfully, if you want to make an appointment with me, I am the boys athletic coordinator and head football coach, and I would love to sit down with you in an individual basis and talk to any parent who has questions with a kid in the program. I would love to do that with you guys, but I really sincerely think that this is not the event or the time we're supposed to be promoting our children. We're supposed to be
That's what
promoting
you're
our
supposed
cause
to be doing.
with our fundraising, and I apologize for this setting. I didn't think it was going to be like this when I received the invite, but I have to respectfully decline, and I hope you guys can appreciate that, because I do think that the privilege of the children is at stake here, and we want to be mindful of that. I will happily sit down with anybody and meet about their child in the program, in any athletic program, and we will eliminate any issue you might have. But I think, and my email is, you guys got my email, and Coach Sanchez's email if you want to donate. But I want to leave a positive mindset on this. Guys, we're looking to be involved in the community. We're looking to create high academic performing students. We're looking to create great athletes, okay? And respectfully, I did not think it was going to be like this when I accepted the invitation. May have been the wrong person or whatever, but please, if you really want to talk to me, I am the athletic coordinator again and head football coach, and I will sit down with any of you, and we will discuss your child, and we will discuss our programs, and I would gladly be above board in all that. But I really don't think that this is the setting to do that. Thank you, guys.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, apologize for anything that's going on here, but we do respect, but if he doesn't want to answer, we can't force him to answer. I do recommend that each of you get his phone number and his email and set up an appointment. Go with a group of parents. Let's address this issue. This young man has a question. Come here, mijo. We're going to listen to you. So we have a student, I'm guessing about a 6th or 7th grader. Tell me your name and your grade.
I'm Jose, and I'm in grade 6. My name is Jose, and I'm grade 6. Our future is in jeopardy. I am a current student at Elder Middle School. I say this because our coach is ready at 18 this year due to no one coming from our high school to support any of our teams like they have in the past.
Let's thank Jose for having the bravery and the courage to come up and address you guys. We're going to move on to our next speaker, which is Catherine Arredondo. Ms. Arredondo is an accomplished nonprofit leader and development professional dedicated in advancing community impact through philanthropy, storytelling, and strategic partnerships. She serves as the Director of Development at Northside Inter-Community Agency and is a board member of Association of Fundraising Professionals in Fort Worth Metro Chapter. A graduate of Leadership Fort Worth and the University of Texas in Arlington, Catherine is committed to fostering collaboration that uplifts and strengthens communities. She's also the co-owner of Lorraine Bakery, a family-owned business celebrating connection and culture in Fort Worth's Northside. Catherine, please come forward. Thank you for being here.
Hello, my name is Catherine Arredondo. I've been born and raised here in the North Side. My parents used to go to All Saints Catholic. Father Boswell was our priest. My whole family, the business used to go to 7 a.m. Mass. I have major pride in living here in the North Side. In the North Side right now, we're facing food insecurity. We are constantly looking for collaboration and connection to help those in the community. As of last month, we've had over 800 new clients come in. These are people needing food every day. We serve clients Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 1. Families, the unsheltered. Many of our programs focus on helping our clients get to their next step in life. Whether it's through food, whether it's through families receiving anything from diapers, wipes, formula for their babies. Anyone going through a crisis, we try to focus on helping all the ages. We have a Good Works program, which is for senior citizens in the neighborhood, 65 and older. We want to make sure they're taken care of with RE in here, making sure they have a monthly collaborative event. So that we can make sure that they're doing okay and they have connection within the community. We have a program called Aventuras Rising, and it's for students in the North Side to help them get scholarships and learn how to matriculate to college or vocational school. We want to make sure we're supporting every student in any capacity that they're wanting to focus on. We also have our Juntos Leamos. It's meeting monthly. We offer a family-style dinner. We want to help with the literacy levels in Fort Worth ISD, so we're focusing on trying to get the parents to come and read with their students. We want to make sure that parents are showing that they have an investment in their child's learning. So come and sit with us for about 30-45 minutes, have silent reading, read with your children at the agency, and then after that we have a dinner that is free to everyone who comes in to kind of just have a moment to talk about the book that they're reading, just have a family dinner. We also have a dire need for volunteers and monthly donors. Our agency is currently being funded by monthly donors and grants. As of right now, we're not receiving any government funding. NICA has been there since 1969, so we need our community to come and help give back to the community. If you could help volunteer your time by coming to stock our shelves, we will gladly take you stocking our shelves. If you you know somebody who has a couple of hours to help in our community closet. Our community closet is open twice a month to anyone in the neighborhood who needs clothing. Any donations that NICA receives go right back out to the community. It's housewares, it's clothing, it's bedding, all those types of things that we would take to give back to the community. Volunteers are always needed to help with our Juntos Leamos program, sit with children and help them learn to read so that their parents can read as well, because they're not going to learn if they don't see their parents doing the same behavior. We want to try to encourage people to come in and volunteer, become a monthly donor, come and take a tour and see firsthand exactly what you're helping with and what impact you're making. Since we are in a bit of a crisis with the food insecurity in the community, I have a list of needs which is shelf-stable items. We will gladly take any shelf-stable items because our community is really in need right now.
Looks like Juntos Leamos is doing a job that they need volunteers for. Please give us your phone number. We could reach you.
Yes, so you can call the agency at 817-626-1102, or you can email us at info@nicaagency.org, and you can see how we can work with your corporations, your daily lives, to try to get you into the community and get to know how you can help and give back in any capacity.
Any questions? Renato?
With so many programs being impacted by changes at the federal level, are there any restrictions that you would have to your programs that restrict helping individuals who might not be either U.S. citizens or permanent residents or otherwise have a legal reason for being here?
We try to create no barriers to anything we provide. There shouldn't be a reason somebody should not receive food or any of access to our services. We try to make sure there's no barriers, so we focus on that. So if you're wanting to give back in any way you can help, come and talk to me, or you can email us and see what kind of capacity. And thank you so much to Chris. He's on our board, and he's such a great asset to help us get out to the community.
Thank you so much. I'll tell you that I was in education for 21 years as a community parent liaison. I used to get a lot of volunteers to come. And volunteers are essential to your child's education. And let me tell you that reading is the #1 reason why children fail, because they're not able to read and advance in their education. Okay, our next speaker, let's welcome Eleno Ornelas. He's in his 25th year as radio broadcasting for the Texas Rangers. How many? 22. Okay, and he has the second largest tenure of the radio broadcasters in the Texas Rangers history, behind Eric Nadell. He was there 46th season in 2024. Mr. Ornelas presented with the 2014 Golden Microphone Award from the National Association of Mexico Broadcasters, the organization's highest award. Ornelas began his broadcasting career at KRVA Radio in Dallas in 1993 before he moved to KESS AM Radio as a sponsor in 1998. He joined the Texas Rangers organization as a full-time employee in 2003. In addition to the Texas Rangers, Ornelas has done radio play-by-play for the Dallas Mavericks and has covered the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Burn during his tenure with KESS. He currently does Spanish radio broadcasts for Oklahoma City Thunder and home games. Ornelas is a native of Juarez, Mexico, and was a professional baseball announcer in his home country before coming to Texas. He's an extensive background in administrator in the Mexican Amateur Baseball Leagues in North Texas, and serves as president of Dallas League from 1993 to 1998. Please welcome Mr. Eleno Ornelas.
Yeah.
Gracias. Buenos días, Zamora. Voy a hablar inglés español porque así estoy acostumbrado con el equipo de los Texas Rangers. Como le dijo aquí señora Aguirre. Mi nombre es Elena Ornelas, nacido en Ciudad Juárez, Chihuahua. Chihuahua. Los de Chihuahua somos escandalosos de por sí, siempre, y me gusta porque ese es nuestro orgullo. Es nuestro orgullo, somos muy sinceros y muy honestos. Pero bueno, hablando un poquito de mi historia, me pidieron que hablara un poquito de eso para que ustedes me conozcan, los que no escuchan los juegos de los Reyes en español, para que tengan la atención de seguirnos. Voy a empezar mi temporada número 24 con el equipo de los Reyes como tiempo completo y 26 para el equipo a través de la radio en español. Y por supuesto, orgulloso de ser representante del equipo de 3 años que fueron campeones en la temporada 2023. Finalmente, después de tener 52 años de estar jugando en grandes ligas y nunca poder ganar un título, lo hicieron en ese año. Y algunos pueden ver dónde están aquí, el anillo que traigo puesto, con orgullo por supuesto, aunque ya hace 2 temporadas que lo ganamos, lo tengo que usar por lo menos porque me cuesta trabajo ganar un anillo de campeón mundial. My name is Elena Ornelas, for the ones that don't speak Spanish. I was born in Juárez, Mexico. I am the Spanish voice for the Texas Rangers, as Ms. Aguirre was telling you. And I'm very honored and proud to be from Mexico and work in the United States in Major League Baseball. It is tough. I don't know, maybe schools, every school that I visit, when I'm not doing Rangers, I yell at the teachers in the school. How many teachers are in this school? And they say 20, 30, 40, 50 in one school. Major League Baseball has 30 teams. 30 teams. That's why I'm honored to do what I do. 30 teams, but not that 30 teams have Spanish broadcasting. So my job is real hard to get. Stop. It's only 17 teams that have Spanish broadcasting out of 30. So if I'm working 23, 26 years for a baseball team in profession, my profession is hard to get. I go to schools and tell them, please don't try to be a broadcaster, because there is no job. She mentioned the one who has more years working with the Rangers, my partner, Eddie Playdell. He has 48 years working as a broadcaster. Just imagine one of your sons or daughters or whoever wants to be a broadcaster wait 48 years to get a job. Stop. So our job, that's why we are proud, and we keep it as long as we can. The broadcaster for the champions, Dodgers, they retired about 3 years ago. Latino, Spanish, 67 years as a broadcaster. You cannot get those discounts. That's what I'm telling you. And Spanish is tougher than English, of course, because English everyone has a broadcaster, but not in Spanish. That's why I cannot be more proud to have this job. Being from Mexico, being from Juárez, coming when I was 8 years old, moving to El Paso, Texas. My father was abracero.
Yeah.
You know what is abracero? People that used to work, employed coming from Mexico and then work in the United States. He was working on the fields. Later he helped us, everyone in the family, to be legal residents. Because on those years, the immigration was not as tough as it is right now. On those years, my father was asked to bring his whole family to the United States, otherwise he will lose his resident paper. So all of us, 8 in the family, we moved with him and my mom to El Paso, Texas. And when I moved to El Paso, Texas, one thing that I want, that I always might say that I was wrong because I was young, I was 8, 10 years old, I didn't want to learn English. I didn't want to learn English. I told my father, everybody speaks Spanish, why do I have to learn English? And he said, we are in the United States and we have to learn the language. Now, I can tell you about myself. I'm the official translator, interpreter for every Latino player that plays with the Texas Rangers. It's another job that is not easy. So if I didn't learn English, I wouldn't be either talking here. You know, we're invited because we're bilingual, we can share our stories. And that's one of my main things that I always want to share to. Here I see people, your parents, your grandparents, tell your kids if they are, the heritage is Latino, you can make it. We can be successful in the United States. Anyone can be. When I was a kid, I used to sell gums. I used to shine shoes. I used to do all those things, sell newspapers, and see what I'm doing right now. When I go to schools and talk to the students about my career on career day invitation, I tell them, look at me. It took me a lot of years to be what I am, but I made it. I never gave up. So that's my message that I want to give. I want to talk about the Rangers and I work for the team and stuff like that, but how hard is to get these jobs? But we can do it. As we say in Espanol, sí se puede. Yes, we can. Before the end of my presentation, I will call a play that I have in my heart. One of my best plays. I have two or three or a lot of plays. But one is the first time we beat the Yankees to go to the World Series in 2010. And then in 2023, we beat Arizona in Arizona and Phoenix to be World Series champions. At the end of my calls, when I finish a game, I say, in your face to the other team. I say, the Rangers beat the Yankees in your face. Boom. And then we go to a break. It happened by accident, and because I feel it on that moment when I called the end of that game versus the Yankees in 2010. And I'll tell you the story and I'll tell you why. But what I want to do is support your kids. Support your kids. I have 4 older kids in my family. And in baseball, we say when you have a hit in one advantage, say 1 for 1. When you have a hit in 2 advantage, say 2 for 2. Well, I have 4 older kids, and I am 4 for 4. All of them have college degrees. My 4 older kids. So I'm very proud parent, not only about customer. That's my message to all the parents. I told you and grandparents here to support your kids. 4 for 4. I'm very proud. And my 5th son is in 2nd grade UT, 2nd year. So I'm close to be 5, 4, 5. That is not easy. But I always support it. And anything that I want to tell you, if you have contacts with schools, please tell them to invite me to be a speaker and also share my stories, my career, so they can make it, they can have our support, your support, to keep going to whatever they want to be. As I made it, my father used to tell me, you are never going to be able to call one play in the United States in baseball game because we live in those years when we talk about it. That was my dream, call one play, listen, one play. And who will say that 38 years later, I was calling every single play of 162 games every season for a baseball team. It happened. So if you support your kids, they go far. They have a career. But it's not up only to them. And one more thing. Don't tell them what to do. Don't tell them. You have to be a teacher. You have to be a lawyer. Let them choose from here. When I go to schools, I tell the teachers, in the students. If you choose a career, that you're looking at your, what time is it? What time is it? That means that you choose the wrong career. Because you're looking at time, just to finish it, go. That's the wrong career. That's when kids are told by their parents, aunts, grandpas, you have to be this. Let them be what they want to be. I was a bricklayer. I worked in factories. I told you I was selling paper, Chinese shoes, selling gums and what. My dream was to go and play. My God, it's fun. On the World Series there was a game for 18 innings. If you know about that, 18 inning game, long game. But when we're calling the games, we're not looking at what time is it. It's a long game, a short game, because I love what I do. That's what I want you kids to know and to choose. This is really, really very important for your kids, for your family. And you, as parents, will be more proud than anything because you know that they did what they want to be. That's the best thing that can happen to anyone in our family. So that's what I can share about the Rangers, about my team, about my job. Of course, it was tough to get this job. It took me, as I told you, 38 years. I started in Houston to be a broadcaster. I learned how to call play-by-play in Juárez, Mexico, con los indios de Juárez. People in the baseball in la Liga Mexicana, Mexican Baseball League, professional. I learned from a person right there. And then when I moved here, I moved to Dallas in 1983 from El Paso and worked as a bricklayer. I laid brick for 20 years. I had my own company, Eleno Cornelas and Brothers Masonry Company. I built houses and apartments everywhere in Dallas, Fort Worth, Dallas, whatever you want. I became involved in baseball with people on the amateur leagues. She mentioned I was president of one of those leagues, amateur baseball. That's when I met the guy from the radio from ARBA, Latino Garcia. That person invited me to call him. That's my story. To call him over the radio and tell him what happened on those games on Sunday. Like here in Fort Worth, Liga del Norte, I think still six baseball league. So I call every Monday Florentino and we talk about local baseball. Eleno Cornelas talking about baseball on the radio. Then, after that, Florentino asked me if I want a media pass to cover the Texas Rangers. I told him, what do you think that I say? What do you think that I say when he asked me if I want to be a reporter for the Texas Rangers working for the radio station? What do you think that I say? Come on.
Yes.
I said, yes, of course. Then I got my media pass. I met the person that hires the broadcaster, introduced myself. I didn't want to waste no time. I said, that's the guy over there. I talked to him, John Lake, and then looked like he's snoring, really. It was like this. And I was next to him, and he never looked at me, never. I cannot forget that moment. He never looked at me. I told him, I'm Leno Cornelas. If you need sometimes a broadcaster, I do that. I did it in Mexico and Juárez. I'm coming from El Paso. And he never looked at me. It was so later, years passed. I was driving with my crew to Carrollton, Texas to bring the house. I can't forget those moments in my life. When my phone, those old phones that maybe some of you used to have, that was connected on when you put your cigarettes or the lighter, I connect that phone over there and I answered. And this is a Leno Cornelas? Yes, sir. This is John Leno. Can you come to our office at 10? and you come to our office at 10 and say, well, I'm going to work in Herald Park. 11, you told me that you know how to broadcast it, right? How to do play-by-play. And you come to the office at 10. Right? And now I know who was it. So I drove a little faster to Herald. Yeah, a little faster. And then brought my crew, told them what to do, came back, told my wife, different clothes. Where are you going? I said, well, I need to change this clothes. I'm going to an office. So at the end, dressed up, took a shower, and then went to the office. And as soon as the elevator opened, the man was standing right there, jumping. He took me to the president of the team. He told me that I was able to do that. I went into the office and told him, this is the man that I told you that can replace Luis, the other guy that used to do play-by-play for the Rangers. Then when I was there, a lot of things happened in my life that was coincidental. So I was there and he told me, why can't you say that you can do this and that? You don't make it too long because I told Catherine Arredondo that I don't know to this. If we were told how long we can talk about it, and he said, well, I have to go, but I'm going to do play-by-play, okay? The play-by-play, but please, I know that you're tired listening to us, maybe. And if not, when I say, for the ones that don't speak Spanish, when I say, todo mundo de pie, no one that speaks Spanish knows what it means, right? Everybody is going to stand up and cheer, because this is the end, the last out, 27, to beat the New York Yankees, and the Rangers go for the first time for a World Series run, okay? When I say todo mundo de pie, estamos en el parque de pelota de Arlington, los Rangers ganando a los Yankees 6-2, parte alta la novena entrada, bateando a Alex Rodríguez, Félix en la loma, cambiando señas con Molina, listo, vía lanzamiento para home, foul, la bola. Una bola y 2 strikes para Alex Rodríguez. Los Rangers se encuentran a un strike, a un out de la victoria, ocurre por primera vez a la Serie Mundial. Todo el mundo de pie. ¿Listo? ¡Come on! Todo el mundo de pie. I mean, everybody stand up. Todo el mundo de pie. Listo, gritando. Listo, bien, lanzamiento para home. Strike el tercero. Los Rangers derrotan a los Yankees 6-2, poncheando a Rodríguez. Alex, on your face.
How's that for the closing? Gracias, Mr. Ornelas. If I can ask you, ladies and gentlemen, to please sit down and kind of keep quiet. We have 2 more speakers, and this is very important to you people here in Fort Worth, because our next speaker is Monica Herrera. Monica Herrera is an advocate for social justice through education, and we've been talking about education and schooling and so forth this morning, so this is very important. She's an immigrant from Fort Worth, from Piedras Negras, Coahuila, Mexico. At the age of 8, she attended school in Fort Worth ISD. She received a scholarship to attend Phillips Academy and in Andover, Massachusetts, and was her senior year of high school, continued her studies at Harvard University. Very educated young lady. In Visual and Environment Studies as a minor of Social Anthropology from Harvard, and is currently pursuing her master's in Public School Building Leadership at Columbia University. She's heavily involved in advocacy groups, serving over 12 years as PTA leader, most recently the PTA, the president of Fort Worth ISD Councils of PTA from 23 to 25, and is current vice president of Grassroots of Fort, Families Organized and Resisting Takeover. Please welcome Ms. Monica Herrera. After Monica, we're going to have Mr. Renato de los Santos give us a few words about what's going on in education today. So please give them your undivided attention. Welcome, Ms. Monica.
Buenos días. Mi nombre es Marisol Herrera. Mónica. My name is Marisol Herrera. Good morning. I know some of you here, I've been around the north side for a while. But I had a whole speech prepared, but I'm not going to do it because it's late and people just want to get on with their day. But I do want to share some information with you guys that I think is very important for us to share with our community. Right now, Fort Worth ISD is in the midst of a takeover by the Texas Education Agency. There's a lot of misinformation and misunderstanding out there about what that takeover means and what it will mean for our community, what it will mean for our students. As a community, I think it's important that we engage in a conversation about what we need to do to improve education for all of our students here in Fort Worth. That is a very important discussion that we need to have. It's one that's long overdue because the problems of Fort Worth ISD have been going on for a very long time.
That's right, a long time.
As you heard in my introduction, I was a student in the district when we first moved here back in the 90s. And I was able to go on to the Northeast to finish up my studies up in some very famous universities. But I came back because I thought it was important for me to come back home and address what I could address. Because I didn't think it was fair that only some of us got to have those opportunities. I didn't see myself as anything special, I was just lucky. That being said, I firmly believe that the takeover and the people who are running it will harm our community.
Yes, they will.
It is not the solution. We need change, but not that change. Be very careful when you hear what they are promising. Do research, get involved, talk to people who have done the research. I represent a group called FORT, Families Organized and Resisting Takeover. And we are working very hard. We're a small group right now, and I invite all of you to join us because we need everybody doing this work to counter the narrative that our city and our school district is broken, and we need to be saved by people from the outside that don't know anything about our community.
Especially not from New Mexico.
Exactly. We need to come together and find our solutions as a community. Our website is FWFORT. It's very easy, FWFORT, FORT.org. That is the parent advocacy group that I'm a part of. Our email is fwfort2025@gmail.com. Again, very easy. Contact us and I can give you way more information about who we are and what we are doing. But make no mistake, we didn't give up the fight when Marath announced that he was taking over. We did not give up the fight when he already appointed a conservator. And we will not give up the fight when he starts appointing all the other people that they will choose unilaterally. It's up to his discretion who he chooses to represent us. We will continue to push. I welcome any questions. Like I said, I had my little story here. Maybe I'll publish it. But I welcome any questions.
Can you talk about the future meetings to get the community together around this issue? I know there's one coming up on Tuesday, but they're already talking about limiting the time, is what I heard.
Right, so if you were at the meeting that the TEA hosted, so the Texas Education Agency is hosting 2 meetings, just 2, for 1 hour each, right? And if you were at the last one, which was on November 6th at Poly, right on the hour, they literally cut the mic, we're done. People were still lined up to ask questions, and he said, we're done, we gotta leave this space. I expect that the next meeting, which takes place on November 13th at 6:30 p.m. in the District Service Center. If you're not familiar with the Fort Worth ISD District Service Center, it is 7060 Camp Bowie Boulevard, over by the traffic circle. That's the new Fort Worth ISD Administration Building. That's where they're gonna hold it. They said they would extend it by 30 minutes. So we will have an hour and a half, allegedly, to ask questions. But I think what's important, to your point, is that we all show up.
Yeah.
Even if they cut the mic, even if they turn off the lights and say, you gotta go home, I would rather have a long line of people saying, you need to hear us, than not. Because they need to know we're not with this plan. They need to know we're watching, we're paying attention. Everything you do is going to be questioned. Because we saw what you did in Houston. And we don't want that. Now, when we ask them straight up, will you do what you did in Houston here? They say, no, that's all lies, that's all lies. Okay, we'll see, but we're watching, right? We cannot hold them accountable through our vote because that's not the way it's gonna work anymore. They took away our voice and our right to vote. Everybody who's gonna be in charge of Fort Worth ISD from now on, and I want to make this very clear, everyone who's gonna be in charge of Fort Worth ISD, our public school system, from now on, will be chosen at the discretion of one man, the commissioner of the Texas Education Agency. And they can be replaced at his discretion. Keep that in mind.
One question, you mentioned Houston. Can you give us some examples of what they have done that obviously many people here will be opposed?
Of course. And again, please reach out to us because we are doing all the research that we can. If you wanted an example of what they did in Houston, because we keep talking about Houston and what happened there, we're like, okay, well, why is it so bad? Because you're going to hear different things, right? You're going to hear the news that they put out, which is the scores went up. It's amazing, so much progress. They're doing so much better. That's what they're going to tell you.
Back data.
But you got to question that. You got to question that. So what research are we doing? We are talking to parents from Houston. We are talking to people that are in Houston, in those schools, and we're like, you tell us. I don't want to hear it from the politician. I don't want to hear it from TEA. I want to hear it from you, from the people that are in those schools. What's it like in there? And what we hear is that it's all about the test. It's all about the test. The STAR test. It's all about that. Now, I have a background in teaching. I used to teach in the Fort Worth ISD. Here at Dolores Huerta Elementary, if you're familiar.
All right.
Love that school. Still volunteer over there, but I have a background in teaching, and I'll tell you this. The STAR test, to put it mildly, is flawed. Okay? It is flawed. If that is what you're using as a basis to judge how a school is doing and how kids are doing, you're missing the big picture. It's just one test. And who grades that test? The TEA. And who grades that test? The TEA. And who decides what score you need to get to meet grade level? The TEA. Oh, and does it stay the same every year? Oh no, they change it every year. Just think about that logically. This agency is making the test, grading the test, and deciding what score on the test qualifies you to be on grade level. And then they turn around and say, Fort Worth ISD only has 34% of students reading and writing and doing math on grade level, and I say, stop. What's your data on that?
Exactly.
Because I have been in the classroom. I have been with kids, and I don't see that kind of failure. I call that lies. I call that manipulation of numbers. So question it. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for being here today, and I want to apologize to you because they put you at the end of the program. I think this is a very, very important topic, and I'm very disappointed in all the people that left because this is something that we need to be talking about. I know this is going to be something that's going to affect our students, our teachers. I know I went to the first meeting with Nicole Collier, and one of my biggest concerns is that I don't know, I think they told y'all something different at the second meeting, but at the first meeting, they did tell us that he can appoint anyone and they don't have to live in the Fort Worth Independent School District, which I totally disagree with. I don't have kids in the Fort Worth Independent School District, but I think that whoever's making decisions for that community should live in that community.
Okay, let me address that, right? Because there's been misinformation and like things that contradict each other. So I'll tell you this. After the meeting with Collier, I wasn't able to go to that one, but the day after, we had a small meeting where they only invited certain people, okay? It wasn't a big town hall. In that meeting, I was there. There was only 7 people at that meeting, with the deputy commissioner, who's the man who stands up there during the TA meeting and gives that information. So I can tell you, we asked that question, and I heard it straight from his mouth. Do the people, this was the question, do the people who will be appointed and chosen for the board of managers, which is what's going to replace the school board trustees, okay? Do they have to live within the boundaries of Fort Worth ISD? That was the question. The answer was no. The answer was no. The reason was, well, we're looking for the most qualified person. What if there's a person who's really qualified who lives, I don't know, in Pembroke or Peller or, somewhere nearby? It's not like we're going to go look for somebody in another state, but they could, be in the area and they could be qualified. So no, we can appoint some. That was the answer.
Yeah. Wrong. So my other, I lost my train of thought. I really, we really need to rally and support our staff and our students, and we really need to keep an eye on what's going on, what's coming. Because based on what the presentation that they gave us, this could be anywhere from 2 to 8 years. Very concerned about teachers leaving the school district. I think Houston ISD is like at 30-something%. So that's very concerning, and I really appreciate you coming here. I look forward to LULAC, look forward to working with y'all to hold them accountable, and also work with y'all in regards to advocacy and calls to action. I know I had another comment and a question that I completely forgot, so I'm totally sorry.
I have one question over here. Wait for the mic.
I know Fort Worth ISD because I worked for Fort Worth ISD for 24 years. And yes, while there's things that need to be solved, this takeover is bad. The only way we're going to get at, because all of that, the TA, whatever his name is, he's not even an educator. He's a software developer, and he's bringing people that are not even educators, okay? Or that did a stint on Teach for America for a year, and then all of a sudden, now they know everything about education. What we need to do is get our people out to vote. We need to vote Abbott out. We need to vote. Then there's a senator running. Her name is the one that's from Austin. She's fought. Gina Hinojosa, yes. She had a town hall in the black community, but we need to have her come here because a lot of us are not knowledgeable. And even the board members, one of them tried to shut me up earlier because that corner over there is asking our kids to come and work for them while they cuss them out. We don't need educators like that. We don't. We need our board members that don't really stand up and just push and that's what's going to happen with Abbott. They're just going to drive, and Molinar, I'm sorry, but she's been in the district for 30 years, so if anybody's in Molinar, I worked in the district, I know. I worked as an executive director who brought teachers, and I also worked as an executive director in technology. So I know the messes at Fort Worth ISD, but we need to get involved and fight this. But the only way we're going to fight it is if we get new representation. Abbott is the one that's the MAGA crowd.
Do you have a question, ma'am?
No, what I want to say, and I hope what I want to say is that we need to get out and vote. The question is, can we take voter registration cards on Tuesday?
To the TEA meeting?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't represent TEA, I don't represent the Fort Worth ISD, so I'm not gonna officially answer that, but I would say, just like
Why not?
you're out
Okay,
there
that's
and you give a registration card to a friend, you give a registration card to a friend.
We're in the position that we are in because the board fell asleep on their job and they just voted for another contract for Teach for America. If you don't know, Idea School started by someone that went to Teach for America, and charter schools are not the answer.
I partly agree with you, Ms. Chavez, but in full disclosure, I did Teach for America. It's not necessarily a bad thing. Blanket, no, hold on, let me tell you. Not a blanket bad thing. But the difference is, are the people that we're bringing from that organization committed to staying in the community and helping the community, or are they trying to break apart the school district to make it all charter? That's the difference.
Sir, answer
Well,
the
yeah.
question.
My name is Manuel Mata, and I've been listening to what's been going on with TEA since it started. I have a question for you. Is there any way that you're encouraging students and parents to just leave the school, period? So y'all can homeschool them? That way y'all have something to argue with them about. Because if y'all going to their public schools, they're in control of everything. Y'all have no say-so. So if y'all were to take all the students out of the schools, keep them at home, encourage one teacher out of your district to come to one of your community centers and teach them there.
Okay, so I, as an educator myself who worked in a public school, I could never encourage people to leave the public school district. And whether it's for homeschool, charter school, private, whatever it is, and I'll tell you why. Because we need to hold on to it. They cannot take it away from us. The minute we walk away, the minute you're like, oh, I'm done with this, like, they're not doing anything for me, we're giving up something that was really fought hard for. We fought hard for having integrated schools with our representation, and I'm not giving that up. I don't care how much they attack it and they want to destroy it. No, my son goes to Fort Worth ISD and he's staying in Fort Worth ISD because that's where he belongs, and you don't get to take that away from us.
All right, sir. This will be the last question for Ms. Monica, because I have one more speaker, Marisol, perdón. And we have one more speaker that's going to follow up on what she's talking about. So, sir, if you can ask.
Well, I have 3 sons from Fort Worth ISD. I have a wife who's a teacher from Fort Worth ISD. I'm just going to say that these board members failed several times. I don't agree with the TEA takeover, but how do you justify the failure of the school board members?
I'm not here to justify what anybody did to get us here. I mean, I said it loud and clear. These problems have been going on for a long time. I agree. I was in the district. My son goes to the district. I taught in the district. I know exactly what you're talking about. So no, I don't justify all of the decisions that were made by certain people to get us here. But I'm saying, be careful. It's like a Trojan horse, right? You let them in because you're not satisfied with where you are, but you're letting something in that's actually going to destroy you from the inside. Be careful. Take ownership of that, address the issues, but do it with your own people, because we can do it.
Thank you so much, Marisol. We're going to ask please, Renato de los Santos. He's with the LULAC National Education Center in Dallas, and he's going to give us an update.
Buenos días a todos. I'm actually just here to bring you a message from our national board, our national president, and our former national president, Hector Flores, and of course, Roman Palomares. And they basically want to convey to you that, of course, LULAC wants to be a partner for educational excellence, help produce the workforce to compete locally and globally. We have to make a commitment. Several of you were talking here about holding the state accountable, and they are saying that they are going to reach out to and bring Mike Moran and or staff to appear here, hopefully at our next Chorizo and Menudo breakfast right here, to brief our community and find ways to help our students perform at levels to meet state standards. So They're talking about holding them accountable and bringing them here so that they can ask, you can ask your questions directly. I think that Hilda, if you want to get this message back to them, they might want to limit the number of other presenters, because I suspect that that would be a long presentation or a lot of questions from the community. But that's their message. They want you to know that the LULAC National Office is monitoring the situation, the state office as well, and anything that you ask from the district level for support, they're going to work to see how they can support you. Thank you.
Thank you, and I was just notified by Jackie, who is the assistant. Thank you, Jackie, for everything that you do to Mr. Garcia. And in December, we will have Gina Hinojosa here. So please spread the word. Let's fill up this place. Let's get the right questions. Hopefully, we can get TA then and get them together. That would be a really nice event, right? So thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you for being passionate about your questions. I believe that the people from the school are still here in the back, the coach. If you have questions, please do talk to them. I think it's very important that you get answers, but the way to do it is to meet one-on-one, and I agree with that. So please do approach him and set up a meeting date, get a group of people together, and go visit with the gentleman. Thank you, everybody, for being here.